And so what we're going to do today is a special case of arrays which is called strings. Now strings are an array of characters, so an array of letters, and we're going to look at a number of different examples. I'm just going to use the C programming environment today, and we'll try to do a few of them. There's not really any need for me to write it with the pen or anything. So we'll start with the usual thing, and of course if I was LUTE H. Sorry. It's I'll just see if I can do that so that you can see it. Editor options here. I'll just start recording again. So hash include, and then we'll do our int main void, and I'll close that. That's not a bad habit to get into, this idea of putting the opening brace and the closing brace immediately before you write any more, and putting them in the correct place indentation wise. Now what we're going to do is we're going to make a new character array, so I'll call it CHAR and I'll call it STR1 for string 1. Okay. Now I can do it the exact same way as we would do an ordinary array. I can say 6 here, or let's say 4, because I'll put my own name in it. And I'll say STR1 0 is assigned S. STR2 1. Good, you're spot right. I'll pretend that I did that accidentally, or I did that purposely, and that you caught me. Okay.
Sorry, sir.
Yes.
You can write everything until you can go in that way now, no?
You can, yeah. I'm going to show you both in a moment. So this is the first way, right? So you'll notice here that while I'm putting them in individually here, I have to put them in quotes. Why do I have to put them in quotes? Yeah, because they're characters rather than a number, okay, or anything like that. So
you do have just like words either, like.
Yeah, and I'm going to show you that in 1 second, where you can do a whole word into it in one go, right? So that's an A, and then we have STR1.
So even though when you declare the STR1 with 4 variables,
yeah,
it only goes up as far as 3, the number, like the assigned number of them.
That's right, because you go 0 up to 3, and if we use 4, it should throw a wobbler or make a mistake. Okay. Now, if I'm to print it out, the only way I can really do it is at the moment is with a for loop. Okay. So I'd have to say for, and put in a little int up here. What'll I call it? I. Why not? I signed 0, I smaller than 4, I plus plus. Now, what will I put in percent what?
Percent
C. I'm not going to do a /n because I want them all in one line, and then I'm going to put what here?
STR with the
STR1 square bracket I. Okay. And down here we'll do get char. Yeah. So get char and return 0.
I find sometimes I have to put 2 get chars.
That's usually when you have a if you have a scanf somewhere up further, that can often happen because it carries the next one. So that will sometimes happen. But now,
is there any way out of that, like, or do you have to put in the 2 of them?
For this programming environment, you have to put in the 2 of them. Yeah. So we see the Sean come out there, right?
Yeah.
Now there is a thing called %s.
String, is it?
Yeah. Now if I put in %s just as that, let's see what happens.
I know.
Oh,
Like
wobble. A wobble, right? Now, instead of %s, what I should really do is I want to print the whole array as a string. So I just say str1. Okay. Now the thing is, because I still have it in a for loop, it should print it 4 times.
So
But there's one other little error we're going to see, but for the moment, had you a question there?
a string is just an array.
String is just an array.
That's
Yeah,
all it is,
that's
yeah.
all it is. It's a character array. Yeah. There is one
You
extra
left the,
little.
you left the brackets there.
Sorry,
You left the brackets.
I did leave I left the brackets there. Because,
Square, man.
yeah, you see, this is the problem.
The wee quote.
The wee square, then a wee quote,
Yeah.
and then something. Now, I definitely don't recall putting them in at all. So it's putting something extra in here, and luckily enough, it's actually stopped at that. It could have gone a lot further. Now, what's actually occurred here is that when you have a string like that, %s, it's expecting some sort of a thing to tell it that it's finished. And we have nothing there.
Space, is it?
Not a space, no. It's a thing called a null terminating character. It's a little like a full stop in a sentence. Okay? And if it doesn't see that, it continues on until it gets one. Now, in effect, the actual numeral value of that is a 0. Okay? So as soon as it finds a 0 in memory, it'll keep writing letters or interpreting whatever number it gets as a letter until it finds a 0. Okay?
Just put 0 after the percentage.
Well, what we need to do here is firstly we need to bring this up to 5 because we need a space for it.
Yeah.
And then we need to say str1 4 signed. Now we can assign it 0 like that. That should work. Or the better way to do it, so that people are aware it's a null terminating character rather than just a 0, is to put the characters and say /0. Now this \0. Now this looks a little odd because you're thinking, well, that's 2 characters, not 1, and I have it in a single characters, but C programming environment recognizes that. Okay, so we'll run that. I have to close down my previous running of the thing, and we'll run that. And you see it says Sean.
Did it for every time I buy.
Okay, so it did it for because I had a for loop, it did it 4 times. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just comment out my for loop there so that we just see it happening once. Just do a quick run, and you see the Sean has come up there. Okay, now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to comment out all of this and show you another way of doing it. This is what you were suggesting to me earlier. I can say this, right? Now, do you remember when we did it like this and we did it as the four different things? We could do it that way, but actually with a string there's a special one we can do. Just do it like that. Double quotes. Right? Now, the thing is here,
you'd have to put the curly brackets and commas.
you would have to, and you'd have to put commas in between them, which is not as handy, right? Here we just put the double quotes, we put in whatever letters that we want. What about the null terminating character?
It's included already.
It is actually included. When we do it this way, that works fine.
automatically.
Right. So let's give it a go. But you'll notice that we need the extra. We still need the extra space to put the null terminating character, otherwise it won't get put in.
So like that
And you see
string,
the Sean come up.
str1 has to have 5 even though it's 4 letters.
Has to. But here's one I'm going to show you here, which is a little odd. And this is one I didn't show you with the arrays, I think, the last day. And leave that blank. Okay? It still works.
Yeah.
Now why is that?
What did you change there?
I got rid of the guy out of
yeah.
here.
Well, it counts the number of letters you put in.
That's exactly what it does, yeah. It says to itself, because remember, what we're doing here is we're initializing and we're asking for memory for this.
Right.
Now, I could put in the 5 there, in which case it knows to make 5.
Yeah.
But if I put it in this way,
Putting in, like, if someone's typing in the letters, you leave it like a square on the side after.
no, if you have it like scanf, this is the point that I'm making here, is that unless you do this at the very beginning where it's allocating memory to put it in, it can't make that decision later. It needs to know at the very beginning of the program, this is how much memory you're going to use.
Oh, I see.
Now,
So you couldn't have, sometimes in a program you can have hash define, and you could define.
you can define a number and try and use that
Yeah,
later. No,
it won't work.
no, because the point here is that it needs to know ahead of time when it first compiles the program how much memory you need. Now there is a way to dynamically allocate memory, but it's quite different from what we've seen so far, and it won't be done until probably after Christmas. Okay, so for the moment, and you could do this with your previous ones. Do you know where you did them like this, and you put the 9 and the 0 and so on? You can do the same thing here because it's able to figure out how many of them there are.
Yeah.
Okay, so automatically when it sees this it knows to give it 5 elements. 4 for the actual letters and 1 for the null terminating character. Okay? Right. Now, so let's take a just quick run at that and make sure.
Just declare S equals like a string character. You know the way you declare an int. Double quotes, or do you have to put the str1 square brackets all the time?
Oh yes, you're on about.
Just a string.
You're used to Java where string was an object of its own type.
Yeah.
Here, a string is literally just a character array.
And you have
So
to put the array. Like,
you would have to put the array things. Now you could do it via pointers as well, but we haven't looked at that yet.
Yeah.
But no, certainly this would be the simplest way. Yeah. Okay. So you have to do that. Now, just to be aware, right? If we do something like this, let's say you decide later on, I'm going to say str1 is assigned Sean. What's the problem with doing this?
It doesn't know how many memory it has.
Yeah, it needs to decide on its memory at the very beginning. Okay? So you can't wait until later to go doing it, right? Even if I do this 5 like that, okay? It still doesn't like this type of thing. Okay? So this thing of putting them all in as one sentence in the beginning only works at the beginning when you're initializing it. If you want to take in a whole line of text somewhere later, there are other ways about it, but you can't do it this way. Is that okay? Right. Now, there are a number of functions to do with strings, right? And there is a header file here which we put in as hash include stringh or .h string.h, and there are a number of functions, and in the same way as we use printf, and printf came from stdio.h, we can use these functions from string.h once we mention it up the top here. Okay, so one of them is the string compare function, and another is the string length. What I'm going to show you is the string length first of all.
Tell you the length.
Yeah, so s is %d long. Do you follow what I'm saying there now?
Yeah.
Okay. So %d long, and what I'm going to say is strlen. I could of course put string length earlier on and put it into a variable.
Yeah.
For the minute, I'm just going to call the function in here. String length str1, like that. Okay. Now it's a while since I used this function, so I hope I'm using it correctly.
Gobbledygook.
Gobbledygook at first, right? And there's a reason for that. And it says it's 15 long. Now, why is the gobbledygook? What have I forgotten to change back?
Oh,
But
you
I
have
heard
to put
there-
into a
You
character.
have to declare the.
I haven't actually declared it as
up
shown
top,
here.
yeah.
Oh,
Anymore. So what it's done is it's found the beginning
That's
of
one way of
it.
spelling your name, Sean.
It is a funny way. That's usually when somebody's given out about me. They call me that. But you can see there that what it's basically done is gone along until it found the first null terminating character and
Yeah.
then said that. So
Yeah.
let's put in the Sean again. Now I want you to take careful note of the answer.
Yeah.
Sean
Didn't
is
count
Sean.
the null.
It did not count the null terminating character.
Oh,
So it
right.
counted everything up to, but not including the null terminating character. Now,
So
what
what-
I'm that is really what you want in most cases, yeah. Now, one thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to say this is 18 long, right?
I will just still know that.
Didn't come across.
Still
The
comes up
null,
as
yeah.
4
Those
because
are-
next one's
the-
null.
the
they
string
don't
length
have
is the length of the string, not the length of the array that the string was in. Okay? Oh, it's like that. We'll do that now. So you're saying a gap here, like that.
Count
Okay.
the what-
Now, how many will it be?
You have to declare your
Four,
character,
five,
right?
six, seven,
Char string.
12.
We already have it declared, right?
Yeah, well, you have to make
Oh, yeah, 12, yeah.
you have to make it 12 inside the box.
Yeah, but we have it as 18, so that's well enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
Will
So
that work now?
so that's going to go 4, 1 for the space, which is 5.
Seven.
Mullery is another 7, which is 12 altogether.
Yeah. And then.
And then the null terminating character will be 13. So if I didn't have at least 13 here,
Yeah.
Yeah,
it wouldn't allow me, or it shouldn't allow me. But it does. We've 18.
Do you want to count the space as a character?
Oh, well, you've no real choice.
12.
Say like if you wanted to write a program, you can concatenate letters in somebody's name.
And ignore spaces.
Yeah.
You'd have to write your little for loop and go through it and find all the spaces and get rid of them.
You didn't even bother doing that anymore. There's no point for the Mullery.
No. I mean, you could do that though if you wanted. Now, what I'm going to do is this, right? And I want you to tell me what this is going to do. str1 as /0. Now, it won't freak out. No. Think about it carefully now.
You couldn't off yours last time, right?
That's exactly what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
I've put it in at position 4. So we've 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I've put the null in there. So despite the fact that the Mullery is still in there,
It won't print it out.
it won't print it out. Okay, because it's found its null terminating character.
Oh.
Didn't like that. What did we do wrong? Now, of course, because of where my Camtasia window is, I can't see where the thing is. Conflicting types for str1. Oh, it shouldn't have said char.
Just STR1.
Just str1 because we've already declared it up above. Okay, so and it says Sean is 4 long.
Yeah.
Now, if, however, I go back to what I originally had, and I say %c, I get rid of this is long business because we don't want to know how long it is, and I put str. What did I have to put in the brackets there? I. And delete that, right? Yeah. Let's give this a whirl. Now it's put some spaces in for me because
The null, is it?
of the null, right? And I've only gone to 4 places, so it stopped there at that point. Sorry, not because of the null, because of the space here.
Oh,
Okay,
right,
so we'll get rid of that space, and I'm going to put this up to 18.
It'll do it for now.
It'll do more than that. It'll go right to the edge of the thing. Well, it'll go right to the edge of whatever's there. So it says Sean Mullery, right? You'll notice that even though the null terminating character is in there, it didn't worry about it. Okay. It seems to have put a space in for it, which is nice of it, but doesn't really tell us much. So it said Sean Mullery, and do you see the way the cursor has gone the whole way over to here?
6 extra
It
space.
kept going over all the way to 18. Now, luckily, there was nothing else in there, so that wasn't particularly a problem. Okay. However, if there was something in there, it would just
But how did it
must
put
continue.
the space in for?
I'm not
No.
entirely certain of that. That has kind of thrown me. I expected to see.
Just strong Mullery.
No, I expected to see Sean Mullery and some unusual character in there. Now, perhaps the /0 is some unusual character that you don't see. But I'd be guessing at that. I really don't know that that's the case, right? What I might do is I might just put it in position 1 and see what happens.
Wow, close to.
Take a quick look. And again,
Yeah,
it's coming up.
space.
It's coming up as a space. So
Yeah.
so obviously the /0, it's showing it as a space, but it may just be that the ASCII character that it puts in.
You have a space, so it's not. Oh yeah, but you changed the port one too.
Yeah, I changed it to this one, so it's put it in here. Okay, so
I didn't delete the space.
Well, yes,
Or-
your
or
E.
more.
no, but you wouldn't expect it to, because now in this case the space is there, and I put the /0 here
Yeah,
in position 1.
yeah, so the space. Yeah.
Okay, so it's obviously just decided to show it as that. Okay. Now, so you see the function that we had there, which is we had there earlier, was the string length, right? There's another one then called string compare. Let's have a quick look at that. Now, to compare a string, I'm going to have to make another one. That's going to sound great in the recording. That nice little bit of countdown
Oh,
there.
you're not going to record the sound later?
What?
You're not going to record the sound later?
No, I'm afraid not. No. Whatever you say now, that's what comes out. All 19 minutes of it so far. Sean. Now, what have I done differently with this Sean Mullery?
Cap.
I put one capital in there, right? I've put it as a shorter length, but that shouldn't be a big issue. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little printf here. I'll get rid of this for loop for the minute. We don't want it confusing the issue when it comes up.
So when you do it, when you do that, why are you putting that in the folder?
I'm not putting it in the folder. I'm just getting rid of it. Just comment it out so that it doesn't affect the program.
So you can read it now?
No. So printf. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to find out how the string compare function works. So I'm going to say %d. Oh, come here. %d /n, comma strcmp for string compare, and I'm going to pass it str1 and str2. Well, obviously we need to pass the two of them if we're going to compare them to each other, and I'll need an extra little bracket there. So what will happen is I'll pass the two strings to string compare. It will return me a number of some description, and I'm going to print out what that number is. Now,
so what will that number be?
Take away the bigger from smaller or something?
Well, that's what we're going to find out, right, when we run it. So at the moment, let's put them that they are the same as each other.
It should be 0, wouldn't it?
And it's come out as -1. Right. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make sure that both of these are, that it's not taking that into account. It's still saying -1. Okay, so they're absolutely the same there. What happens if I put it as a capital M?
-1.
Still saying -1. So
that's not right.
That unfortunately has now thrown me on top of the same thing. So what I'm going to do there is I'm just going to. Okay, we're back recording, and now that we've solved the problem, okay, just to remind you, it was that little section that was still in there. If I just do Control Z here, you'll see it. That little thing there, obviously, it didn't matter what changes we were making up here. It was this fella down here was confusing it. Now, let's start off with the situation where they're exactly the same, and we run that, and we get a 0. So if you're doing an if statement on this or anything to check if they're the same, you need to be looking for is it equal to 0 as an answer. Now, if you get anything non-zero, they're not equal. However, there's a little bit more you can interpret from it. If I have a capital M here in this second one, right, it comes out as a +1. And yet, if I have a capital M in the other one, it comes out as a -1. So, most likely what this is doing inside is it's actually counting up the ASCII things in each one. And when one becomes greater than the other, it says either a -1 or a +1. So it depends on which is which. So
the first M is bigger than the second.
Yeah. So I think
saying that it's
I'm trying to remember you've used the two upper functions. Remember on the ASCII character set, is the lowercase letters higher up or lower down?
The lowercase, I think they're from
97, is it?
122.
And what's the other one?
The other one's 65 to 90.
Yeah, so the capital letters are actually lower down, which means the capital letter will be a lower value, and so they're obviously determining it on that. Okay. So that's the string compare function. Obviously, you could do an if on the string compare function. So you could say something like
if string 1.
Yeah, go on. Say it again.
No.
If strcmp string compare
is equal to 1 or 0.
Yeah, so we'll have to put in the things that we're sending to it. str2 equals
string.
Equals 0.
Yeah.
Then what?
Print out that there's no problem, no difference.
Yeah, no difference. Here INTF. These
Did
strings.
you have more brackets around the equal, the double equals? 0.
Say that to me again.
Alright, yeah, you do, yeah, sorry.
Okay. So these strings are the same. So let's have a look. They won't be the same. So it's only saying -1 to me now at the minute. It's saying nothing because I haven't put in an else. If, however, I put them to small m there, these strings are the same. Okay. Now, we should point out there are a number of programs that you're going to have to do in the thing today, and one of them is actually using the string compare function. But And one of the others is I want you to use the two uppercase function that you wrote already, or should have written already. So there's a function called the two uppercase. In other words, if I give it a small letter, it'll make it a big letter.
We
Right?
use our own one, yeah.
Sorry?
We use our
You
own
use your own one, and what you should do is take in a string of text. Oh yeah, I have to still show you how to take in a string of text. I'll show you that now in 1 second. So you take in a string of text, like say with Sean Mullery, and you change them all into uppercase Sean Mullery, right? By calling your function, which means you're going to have to go through it in a for loop. Yeah, exactly, yeah. Now, one of the other ones then that I ask you to do is, if the two strings are not the same, I want you to tell me what letters are different. So in our previous case, it should have told me that the capital M was different than the small m. Again, rather than the string compare this time, you're going to have to actually go through it with a loop and check each element against each element. So, string one I is it equal to str2 I? Right. Scanf, and this will be the last thing that we'll show you here, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take out this here, and we're going to put in. We're going to ask for it. So, PRINTF. Yeah. Please. Yeah, that's a good point. You enter name less than 12 characters. Why am I saying 12?
Because
you're null.
Yeah, that is my null. Now, if I recall, there are one or two issues with the scanf function, which I'd be a bit concerned about. So we're going to try it here and see how we get on. I'm not all that certain that the scanf function includes the null terminating character. So something you're going to have to be a bit wary of. So scanf percent S. Yeah. Thank you. Like that. Okay. And let's give that a go. Right. I'll put a get char here just in case. Whoops, and down it goes in a heap, right? So we don't know what exactly happened there, so we'll put in another get char to see if it'll stop it. I should bring this down so that you can see what's happening on the video. And again, it's gone down in a bit of a heap. Okay, so there's an issue with using.
It can't take in more than one character.
The scanf?
Well, yeah.
No, it can, alright, but it has issues with it, right? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put 0 on the. I'll do this, and I'm going to make it 14. Actually, I'm going to get rid of the 0 for a second because I don't think that's necessarily what the problem is, but again, that's given trouble. Okay. There is another way of taking in a string. It's the fgetS to take in a string, but sorry, I shouldn't have run that again. Try the 0 here.
I mean, it'll start off with position 0.
No, it doesn't. It's the address of it there. You see, str2 on its own should be an address.
Yeah.
That's why I just want to check, is that what the. No, and again, that's not. Now, this is all to do with an issue with the scanf. Sorry?
No, it's just you don't have a printf say in string 2, do you? You're just a string compare.
No, I have a string compare. Yeah, I've nothing printing out the thing, but all of this should get printed out. It should decide either one or the other. The problem is we're not actually getting it to stop. Okay.
I didn't have to print that bit.
But if we did, then you wouldn't be able to make the decision on it. So that I don't think that's the issue. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hit F. Okay, so the problem that we're having is that there is a space in when we're taking it in the scanf, and scanf, once it sees a space, it actually cuts it off at that and puts a /0 at the end of it. So let's just have a look at that. If I type if I run it there and I type in just SEAN, and it comes up as a 1 there because obviously the strings are not equal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of that, and I'm going to type in Sean Mullery in one go. And see, the strings are the same now because there's no spaces, and it takes it all in as one word. So that's one of the problems with the scanf to be aware of. There is another one called getLine. So I might just try that. Okay, rather than getLine, we'll use fgetS. So fgetS, we'll use the str2, which is where we want to put it. Size of str2, comma stdin, which is the standard input, which just means from the keyboard. So we'll give that a whirl there. We'll leave the space here and see if that works. And we see the 1 come out there, and it doesn't. So we'll just, well, it does work, but it's saying that it's different. So we'll put the space back in Sean Mullery there and type it again. And they've come out slightly different again here, so it's probably something to do with the size of the thing. Yeah, I'd say it's this 14 here. We put that back to 13, so they're both the exact same size. And Sean Mullery, and you can see that the strings are the same. So that one will work with the spaces in it. So it's an alternative to the scanf whenever you're going to have spaces in it. If you want to stick it all in one go. Okay, so we're just going to end the recording there at that.